Today, I'll teach you a technique to increase the threat of your forehand. The first point is the ratio of impact to friction. If the impact to friction ratio isn't right, many players apply too much friction and not enough impact, resulting in slower shots. When playing shots, you must apply impact first, then friction. Only applying friction lacks power. Using only friction is ineffective. Is this type of shot high quality? No, it's not. That's what happens when you rely solely on friction. It lacks power. You need to apply impact first, then friction. How do you apply impact first, then friction? Your angle matters. If your angle is wrong, you can't apply impact first. This way of hitting is incorrect. You need to hit like this. This way, you can give the shot power. Before applying friction, apply power. Then add friction. Watch this. Power first, then friction. This is how you apply impact first, then friction. Many players do it like this. This is what friction looks like. It's not threatening. Some players only focus on impact. There's no friction. Watch. Impact first, then friction. Adjust the angle. There must be an upward angle. Then apply impact first and add forward friction. Like this. Let me use an analogy. Many people don't understand this. Some people focus only on friction, like rubbing my hair right now. This kind of shot has no speed. You need to strike the ear area first, then rub the scalp afterward. Impact first, then friction. After I impart power to the shot, doesn't the ball come out both fast and with spin? Many players hit like this. Watch. Look at this. This kind of shot has no speed. Some players focus purely on hitting. This lacks stability. Today, I'll teach you. First, the impact. You must ensure an angle. Once you have the right angle, apply impact to the shot. After transferring power to the shot, quickly apply spin. Does my shot now have both power and spin? It also has a good arc. Let's move on to the next point. The second key point is the depth of placement. Many advanced players, why do their shots feel so powerful? Why do their shots seem harder to return? Because their loops follow longer trajectories. Yours are too short. Many people rip a shot, but it lands shallowly. Does it stay inside? Many players loop, and the shot lands shallow. A deeper placement would land here. If every shot you loop lands deeper, it significantly increases the challenge for your opponent. A shallow loop can be easily returned, but a deep loop, especially if your opponent steps back late, becomes tough. Avoid looping shallow shots. Aim for deeper placements. Let me explain further how to lengthen the trajectory of your loops. If your loop trajectory is too short, it's not threatening even with power. Shallow placements are easily returned. Many players retract their forearms intentionally. This motion is incorrect. You need to naturally retract your forearm. Two loop shots with a longer trajectory. Retracting the forearm properly is critical. Some players retract their forearms before fully releasing their power. This results in shorter shot trajectories. If I retract my forearm this way, the loop will be short. How should the arm retract? It should retract naturally. It should move forward. This is what it looks like when you pull back. Your forearm should move forward. Retract it forward. Forward. Many players retract their forearms incorrectly. They pull it back. This will inevitably shorten the shot trajectory. Look, as soon as the power is released, they pull it back. With this approach, even if I can loop the shot, is it effective? No. How do professional players retract their arms? They retract forward. Let me demonstrate. Get ready. Again. Pay attention to the racket angle when retracting forward. Did you get the feeling from that? I was retracting forward. There was no deliberate arm retraction. To create a longer loop trajectory, avoid deliberate retraction. The depth of the shot depends on retracting forward. This naturally results in longer loops. If you deliberately pull back, the trajectory will be shorter. You see, these top players Let me start with Ovcharov. He's better at mid to long distance shots, right? Isn't Ovcharov known for his powerful and open style? Isn't it all about big movements for him? Ovcharov's short court game isn't as strong, right? Including Zhang Jike's looping shots. How does Zhang Jike generate such spin on his shots? This is how he adds the spin. The loops he produces have a great arc and exceptional stability. Look at how Zhang Jike plays. He doesn't loop like Ovcharov does. You can't get that much spin using such big motions. Do you know where the stability comes from? Breaking, retracting the forearm. I'll demonstrate a loop for everyone. Okay, everyone watch. One type of power generation. Right, he releases all his power. But the shot's trajectory is straight. This shot either hits the net or flies straight out. 4 shots below the net. If you don't have strong skill, you need to create a good arc. For those who often hit their shots into the net, I'll share a training method with you. First, loop upwards. Aim to loop out of the table. It's okay if it goes out. Then adjust downward. If you're always hitting the net, adjusting upwards is harder. So adjust from up to down. First, loop the shot high. Start by looping high, right? Even if it goes out of the table, that's fine. Then gradually lower it. Gradually bring it down. It's okay if it goes out. Then gradually shorten the shot. You'll naturally find the feeling in your wrist. If you always loop out, it's because you can't control it. The more you want to loop long shots, the more you extend your motion forward. Look from the side. How do we loop in rallies? We loop this way in rallies. The ball is sent forward. But the shorter the shot, the different our loop. It's all about that final motion. By controlling with the forearm, shorten the shot. I want to loop the shot a bit shorter. Let me demonstrate. If I use this motion, I can't loop short shots. With this kind of motion, no matter how thin I loop it, I can't make it short, because my motion is forward. If I don't retract my forearm, I'm using a forward motion. This kind of motion is used for rallies, right? When you don't need to add arc, you push your arm forward. Whenever I want to loop a shorter shot, I always use my forearm. Retract the forearm quickly, using the fingers and wrist for braking. Watch how I loop high and short shots. Retract the forearm quickly, use the fingers and wrist for braking. Only then can you make the shot short and create the loop. Add that arc to the shot. Now, why do you see big movements in rallies? Why don't we use small motions far from the table, but watch near the table? When we play close to the table, it's much faster. Why? That's because big movements take too long, and with big movements, the shot would fly off. Does that make sense? If you want to loop a shorter shot, create that arc so it lands on the table more often. We need to make this motion smaller. Let me show you a couple more. First, with power. I'm not going to retract the force. See, going forward? I'm not retracting the force. Watch my motion. I'm not retracting the force. It's a forward motion. When I loop to the diagonal, no problem. I can aim right at the corners. Long shots are harder to defend. Do you see how when players put power into a shot, the shot goes out? Why is that? Because you didn't retract. Let me show you again. When we want to increase the shot landing on the table during a match, we need to restore stability like this. I'm increasing the time the ball stays on the paddle. Right? This is a common shot during matches. By joining my membership, you can watch more than 10 videos in advance and access 30 professional tutorial videos by Fangbo. These videos cover everything from beginner basics to advanced techniques.
Because it's possible for him to push it to your forehand area,
ensuring you'll find the skills you need. The cost ranges from $1 to $3, depending on your region. Thank you all for your support.